Let's speak to the political analyst, Professor Joseph Cheng, who joins us from Seoul. Professor, thank you very much for your time. You know, many around the world blame North Korea for there being so few reunions in the past 30 years. Would Pyongyang possibly be concerned that anyone coming from the North for these reunions might actually learn more about the outside world, indeed more about what's happening in their own country? Could that be a reason for there being so few?
This is probably a less and less significant factor now. As we know, because of the development of the internet and so on, many people in North Korea do have access to information outside the country, as evidenced by the increasing illegal smuggling activities across the China-North Korean border. At the same time, it seems that North Korea still would like to use this kind of family reunion arrangements as for its propaganda value. Certainly, this is now seen as a kind of peace dividend following the escalation of tension in the Korean Peninsula and the summits between the two Korean leaders. This kind of exercise is also popular in South Korea, especially for those people in South Korea in support of better relations between the two Koreas, and therefore it is a kind of political support for the incoming president Moon Jae-in as well.
Do you know if the agreement on reunions is tied to any of the other negotiations that have been taking place since the two leaders met in April, or is it completely a standalone issue?
At the moment, it seems that both sides are eager to achieve concrete results over this arrangement to be in time for something to happen on Liberation Day, August the 15th. As you can see, the South Korean side has also avoided raising the issue of six South Koreans detained by the Pyongyang authorities. So this is a kind of signal that both sides would like simply to concentrate on this non-controversial humanitarian measure to generate better atmosphere before this will lead to other arrangements.
Professor, I want to ask you a general question and return to the point you made at the start of the interview, saying that more people in North Korea have access to the internet. You remember that high-ranking official in London who defected from the North Korean regime just a couple of years ago? He said that the only people who have regular access to the internet in North Korea are government employees, government functionaries, and not at the lowest level. But regarding your point about access to the outside world, how much do you think that sort of information coming into the North is responsible for Kim Jong-un opening up the country a little bit, or is it more to do with the potential collapse of his country economically? What's the balance there in terms of this opening?
We can only speculate at this stage. Certainly access or regular and legitimate and safe access to the internet is only available to trusted government officials and trusted think tank people. But like in China, a lot of North Korean young people, they manage to climb the firewall and so on. And there are a lot of illegal trade activities across the Sino-North Korean border. So perhaps Kim Jong-un is wise enough to understand that containing the people, containing the country from outside influences is going to be a losing battle. And it is better to ride with the waves, so to speak, and engage in some kind of economic reforms and opening to the external world. And this probably explains the initiative and the enthusiasm of the Kim Jong-un regime to seek peaceful negotiations with both South Korea and the United States. But we are not at all sure at the moment. We would still like to see concrete measures being made to engage in economic reforms and opening to the external world on the part of Pyongyang along the road of China and Vietnam before.
Sure. Joseph, Cheng, we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.